DreamHack Astro Open is brought to you by Astro Gaming, Monster Energy, and Zowie.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 3 of DreamHack Astro Open in Leipzig for 2017's record-breaking season. That's right, the first of 9 DreamHack Open slots. We've also got the Masters as well to come, but this is where it begins. No idea what he's doing. The trophy awaits today for the champions to be crowned as we move into our semi-finals and grand final for day 3, the final day of DreamHack Open 2017 here in Leipzig. Has been a fabulous 2 days of action so far. We are going to recap that in just a moment. Of course, we've got our analysts back here as well. We're going to discuss day 2, day 3, look forward to the semi-finals, and of course our opening match of the day. But first, a quick mention for our sponsors, without which we wouldn't be here. So thank you very much for your support from Astro, from Monster Energy, and from Zowie. As I said, it has been a cracking 2 days of Counter-Strike Global Offensive action. Time now, before we head into day 3, to reflect back on a fabulous day 2 right here in Leipzig.
Yesterday at DreamHack Astro Open.
Jace Walkings has got a huge task ahead of him. He's missed the first one, lands the second. The bomb is being defused in amongst all the chaos. The Misty realizes he has to get off the side, and Jace Walkings picks up the front.
Sunset Strip, Rainbow Club, we got all the hits.
They link them with the knife. He's got his own out. Oh no! They surround him, and Tabson will get his 4K. He's going to do massive damage. Gets the first one. Transfers the spray onto the second. There's only one more to go. He's going to shut it down. Karras goes here. He's already got 1-3 more to find. Right behind him, Hutchie goes down next. And he could be aggressed on. Oh, the headshot to JR. Chopper versus Keith. Well, it's looking like he could be slipping away from Big. And Chopper could be picking. Keith gets a clutch. And Biz now has 4 back points.
And that was day 2. Day 3 is also looking very exciting indeed. Welcome back to the panel. We've got Sponge with us and Lurpus once more. Good morning, Jess. All right? Everything okay?
Good morning. Is this the first day we've been able to say good morning?
It is, properly. I said good morning the first day, but we were actually like 1 o'clock in the afternoon or something. I think it was just sleep.
Okay.
Still asleep.
Yeah.
Are you asleep today? Or are you ready, Sponge, for the grand final?
I'm definitely ready for the grand final.
Okay, all right, good.
Well, the semi-finals.
Yeah.
We got to get there first.
Yeah, the road to the final.
I'm still in the process of waking up, much like this tournament is in the process of getting to the final stages.
It's like a good morning without coffee, and then you get coffee, and then things start getting better.
Can you have a good morning without coffee?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, can't happen. Even without caffeine in it. I just pretend that I've got caffeine in it. On to serious things. We're going to look back at day 2. It was a very good day. What was your highlight? What stood out for you?
Big. They were big. It was good to see, you know, they really played with the crowd. They had a lot of momentum, had a lot of flashy plays. Next standing up and being counted as the best German player again in my mind. That was great to see. So they were the highlight for me of day 2.
Yeah, crowd were pretty funky yesterday. What was your highlight?
Well, I think I would have to agree that Nexus play really was the one thing that sort of sticks in your head when you think back to yesterday. Also, doesn't hurt that you had the big crowd during the whole game. So, I mean, that was a great game.
It's almost a shame to have lost Vegas Squadron. They were a lot of fun on the first day.
Well, the problem is there's often teams you don't want to see go out, but at some point you're going to have to narrow the playing field unless you're just going to keep playing and playing and playing without actually giving the trophy to anyone.
We could do that. We could
They
keep
do
doing round robins.
They do kids sports like that now, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a
you're not allowed
Counter-Strike
to
tournament
win.
like that.
It's all about taking part.
No trophies, no prize money.
All about taking part.
Participation awards.
Yeah, participation. In which case, we should just give all 4 a medal now. But we are going to. That's because we have our semi-finals and our grand final coming up. Let's check in with the brackets right now and show you exactly what happened in Group A and Group B. Of course, we started 2 days ago. Heroic winning their opening 2 matches to make the semi-finals. They made it through quite straightforwardly, but the lower bracket, a little bit tougher. LDLC, Fnatic Academy, and QWERTY all fighting it out for their place in the semi-final. Ultimately, LDLC coming through in a best of 3 that went all the way against Fnatic Academy to claim their place. In Group B, Flipside were the winners at the top of the bracket. And didn't have it all their own way, though. 16-11 against Big, and then run very close by Vega Squadron in the upper bracket final. Ultimately, Vega falling one short after a 2-0 defeat against Big in Group B. It was a little bit controversial, shall we say, at the end. But nevertheless, they did manage to get through Big. And moving into the semi-finals, which will start today, of course, we've got Heroic versus Big, and we'll kick things off with Flipside versus LDLC.
Feels forever ago we saw Heroic and Flipside playing, doesn't it? It feels like that was last week.
And Heroic have only played cobbles, so today we're going to see a bit of variety in their map pool, you know? So it'll be a bit interesting when we get there.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit to Valdi yesterday. He seemed pretty confident.
Really confident, I think.
What did he leave here saying? I don't choke like other Danes?
Yeah, I think so. That was a statement.
He told Paolo as he went out.
tweeted it. I don't know if that's what he was meant to tweet it, but he did. So
private conversations revealed.
Did he actually tweet it? Are we sure this is not the first time that it came out?
Yeah.
More
that's true.
strolling on the interwebs.
Could be. We're going to move into our first game of the day very shortly. Of course, we've got a little bit of time to discuss the two teams, and we'll start things off with Flipside and talk about their road. I mean, it's, again, like you said, it's difficult in a way because it's 2 days ago, and they were best of ones.
They did what we expected them to do.
Did what they needed to do.
Yeah, it goes for Heroic and Flipside. They just grinded their way to the top spot in their groups, and they are the favourites of the tournament, and they're in the positions they need to be right now. And I think looking at the way that they've played, you saw a more flashy Flipside to the one that everyone knows and not potentially loves, but has known over time. And that's good to see going into the major, and this is a good way for them to ramp up to it. So I'm excited to see what they bring today.
Yeah, all right, we're going to get more from both of you in just a moment, but before we do so from our panel, why don't we check in with the players themselves? Always good to hear what their thoughts are as they head into the semi-final.
We made a lot of mistakes. We lost 2 eco rounds. We almost lose the game. I would call it a fluke, but I'm really happy that the luck was on our side and we managed to pass the group stage from the first place.
For me, it's very important to succeed with LDSC because like Titan and G2 was not my best project. My feeling is not like I want to revenge or... No, I think it was the best thing for me to be kicked one time in my life. And yes, really, I think that was positive finally.
First of all, we need to work on our communication. It's the biggest problem now in our team.
I think we need to step up individually, especially.
Rocket to the moon.
Any team here can show their best A game.
And against the tactical teams like Flipside, I am confident to play against this kind of team. But Flipside is a major team.
LDLC desperately need this round. There's the first one. Karas is just a bullet away from death. Round, and there we go. He does pick it up.
We didn't win any single LAN tournament outside of the CIS for 2 years already. So yeah, we're really hungry to win the first one, and we'll try to.
I think we have a little chance, but we have a chance, so let's give everything.
Interesting comments from both teams. We'll start off with Flipside. Tommy, what do you make of that?
I just really want more fire out of Markelov. The first thing that we saw out of Markelov when he first broke through in the scene in Navi was the famous quote that he said in an SK interview. He said that, "I'm going to show to Fraud some new things before our semi-final against them." That was glorious. Now he's just so nice. We're just trying to win. You know, we're working hard. We're doing our best. We haven't won in a while. They're a great team. You know, we're not. Come on, man. You got this.
Yeah. What's some fireworks?
Aren't you part of the Markelov return to Orb Club?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm the chairman. I'm the chairman.
Seconded.
And Anders is the vice president, and I think we'll find Paul some kind of role in upper management.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely on the hype train. I mean, he was glorious back in the day. You played him.
And he was also, yeah, I mean, I got destroyed by him at that IEM.
I didn't want to say too much, but
But he was also amazing in the beginning of CSGO when he first started opping in Navi. But then even towards the end of 1.6, he was kind of steering away from that role for whatever reason that I never quite understood. I talked to him multiple times about it, and he's never given me an acceptable reason. Right. I'm still kind of waiting for it.
Hasn't sort of mentioned that he was bored, wanted to change of roles, wanted to mix things.
No,
I felt like
he gave me tons of reasons. Right. They just weren't acceptable. That's the big difference.
I mean, you know, for those that are fairly new to Counter-Strike, he was a world-class AWPer back then.
He was the best AWPer. Like arguably the best AWPer of all time. He's the best player in the world for 1 or 2 years.
It's funny how, you know, you go from being the best AWPer in the world to not wanting to AWP anymore. I don't understand that rationale, but obviously he has a reason for it, and he does his job as he's more of a support player in this team. You know, he's not the superstar. He can have those performances. He is a clutch player. He is known for his lurking as well on certain maps, but he doesn't stand out on every game like he used to back in the old 1.6 days with Navi.
And it's kind of weird because he used to be the most consistent performer of all the top players. He was so consistent. Every semifinal, every grand final, he was always great in. He never had a bad game when it actually mattered. But to be fair, like from knowing him personally, his personality fits like the backup support kind of role a lot more than being like the flashy star, which he was, but I don't think he was really him. It just sort of just happened that way.
We're going to move over to LDLC now and check in with our French, Belgian, British mix.
Just French and Belgian.
Oh, come on! We're going to kick the hype.
They're French.
Obviously led by Existence, a legendary in-game leader for many years, both in Counter-Strike Source and in Global Offensive in the early days as well. In particular, tasting some success. Success in the early days, of course, of Global Offensive was finishing second to Nip, so he had plenty of that going on for him in the early days.
And he had a couple big tournament wins too at the right times. Yeah. It's just that we all remember that the first major where they lost the semi-final because of losing his COL in the group stage and getting that semi-final matchup as opposed to meeting NIP in what would have been the Dream Grand Final at the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's got a good career. I think he gets underrated sometimes. I think he also gets overrated by some people, but like broadly, I think the average fan probably focuses too much on his individual skill as opposed to what he can do with the team. Because if you look at these guys, I mean, this is not a group of guys you would expect to play in a big stage like this or be able to compete against tier 2 teams without him on the team.
Yeah, having said that though, Sponge, they've all stepped up at various moments throughout this tournament so far. We've seen flashes of brilliance from almost all of them.
Yeah, but Existence said even in that little interview they did that they need to step up individually, which I really think they do. Consistently as a team, you know, they're making the kills they have to, but nobody is like putting the other members on the back and carrying them across the line or getting them that lead. They're doing what they have to do to get the victories, and you've seen that in the close score lines. You know, they had that blowout on the first day versus Fnatic Academy where it was like 16-5 or something on Dust 2, and they all played confidently. You need to see that here, and you need to see that now. But I don't think that's the LDLC we're going to get today, unfortunately.
Yeah, we'll see which version we do get. We're going to move into the map vetoes, excuse me, very shortly. These are obviously very important again. We've got 2 bans coming, 1 ban from each team, then a pick of each, which does change it up a little bit in terms of the way that they can not eliminate 2 bad maps for them.
Yeah, so Dust 2 and Mirage are the perma bans for these teams, so those are going to be going away first. Here's the really, but you go.
So I think that you need to be brave in this veto process, especially if you're LDLC because you're the underdog. So you need to like, they're probably comfortable on like something like Overpass, but so is Flipside. So you probably want to pick Cash, right? That's what, Cash. I'm being un-Australian. You'd probably want to pick.
No, we're converting you. It's Cash.
That would be the pick that I'd go for if I was LDLC, and they've done that. Then for Flipside, they can do anything they want. Their map pool is deeper, and I think like maybe a Nuke would be a good pick.
I think Nuke would be the ideal pick. Yeah. That's probably what I would go for if I were Blade, and that's also what they do. So those are solid picks. I think I agree with you on LDLC. I think they have to go for something like that. They can't really pick Overpass. It's a good map for Flipside. Train is a solid map for Flipside. There's so many maps. They just have a very broad map pool. So LDLC taking away Train.
Maybe Cobble is the third.
I mean, that's a good map for Flipside because I did not like what I saw from LDLC. They just didn't have the depth needed for a long game. No, they got what they needed, but it was a CT side comeback. It was a comeback that Fnatic Academy allowed them to make.
Yeah,
it was underwhelming. Exactly.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I think that was Fnatic Academy's game to lose as opposed to LDLC's game to win at the end there yesterday. But the real problem for LDLC, they just didn't have the depth on the terrorist side, and you're not going to win consistently on the CT side.
I'm a little bit worried for Cage for Flipside because they haven't historically been a very good team on it, and they hardly have played it with this roster. The thing that, you know, for them as a major team is when you're banding down to one map, you don't need to have a deep map pool. You know, you only need to make that top 8 to make the next major. So that's where it gets a little bit scary. But I think they have the higher skilled players than LDLC. Whether or not they show up straight away, I think Flipside are a slow starting team. Whereas yesterday I said that LDLC, I think they're well prepared, so they don't
They
start.
definitely start, don't they?
Yeah, they're always looking in it.
Yeah.
Even if they maybe drop the first 4, they bounce back and get 4 in a row. But we've seen strong starts because of those like aggressive CT pistols and that kind of stuff. Interesting to see if they're going to go with that same cookie cutter style that they've been using the whole time, or if they're going to adjust things, because Blade is the guy who's going to do his prep, you know. Even though they said they want to adjust, you do a little bit of prep, you watch a couple of demos, you see what's going on, you can't be ignorant to that stuff.
Yeah. Does it? I mean, the interesting thing is it is a clash of styles in some ways. In that, ordinarily you'd look at this and go, LDLC know exactly how Flipside are going to play, and Flipside know exactly how LDLC are going to play, so that's what they do, right? But with Blade saying he wants to mix it up, they want to be a bit more unpredictable and maybe a bit faster sometimes as well. Is that going to play a part in this match, or do you think they will go back to default?
Well, I think they probably will mix up their pistol rounds and first gun rounds. That's the kind of stuff that you actually do want to focus on a little bit before the major. You don't want to show everything you want to run on the key rounds. Overall, they're going to play very similar. They might give some of their players a little more freedom to go for picks early on the terrorist side or play more aggressive on the CT side. But overall, I would expect the fairly regular Flipside game plan. They're supposedly the better team. They have probably a little more skill, so they can sort of just play default CS and expect a win out of this.
If it's LDLC's match, where is it going to come from? Is it going to come from an individual performance? Is it going to come from better collective team play? Is it going to come from strategy? Where is it going to come from?
I think they have to take it in 2 maps, first of all. I think they need a surprise on Nuke and show that they actually have some stuff and they've worked on it, because I don't think Flipside will be expecting a whole lot on that map. It's going to have to be the consistent team play with the individuals making the clutches when they need to. I don't think they have a star who I can pick out in that roster who's going to be able to carry them across the best of 3 series. Where on the other hand, this is where I can see someone like Electronic just going ham for Flipside and absolutely taking over matches, especially on Cage. It's a map where, you know, his freedom that they're going to give him could really play a factor.
Tommy, your thoughts?
Let's just look forward to seeing Cash again. I mean, it's not a map that Flipside plays very often, but they have a couple of memorable wins. Our friends in Ninjas in Pajamas on the receiving end of that at the previous major.
They lost to us, Renegades, 16-3 on Cash many years ago. Cash. A long time.
Cash.
Oh, it was Vox Eminor, so it was a long time ago.
Wow, it was a long time ago. Just a quick reminder for you watching at home in the Twitch chat right now, you are able to send us your predictions using the exclamation mark and then the name of the team, and you can vote for who you think will win this particular one. We'll get onto the predictions for you guys now, put you under the microscope. Sponge, we'll start with you. Which way?
I think for serious, we actually have to pick map scores too. I think
that's
the only way we differentiate.
Yes.
Okay. Put me on the spot a little bit. I think Flipside we've only seen them play 2 maps, but I think they're the stronger team. LDLC had close games versus a much weaker opponent, so I think it's going to definitely be Flipside. I'm going to go in 2, and I think the first map will be close, like maybe 16-11 to Flipside, and the second map probably 16-7.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go down to map scores. That's just nonsense.
That's too much.
I thought you wanted to go in detail.
No. That's too much detail. That's unpredictable.
I want you to now tell me how many automatic frags has. How many frags he gets in each map, and how many deaths he gets, and what his KDA will be, and what his ADR is.
Okay.
Can you predict the coin flip? Who's starting what side? I got Flipside in 2 as well.
Okay.
I think the first map is the one where LDLC really have to come out strong if they are to have a chance in this. I think they have to get the win, and I don't think they can get a close win. They'd have to sort of just roll over Flipside, and that's how they could keep the momentum for the second map. And I agree with Chad. It has to be a 2-0 if LDLC were to win. I don't think they're going to take Cobble.
Okay, so there's the predictions from our panel members. They believe it's in 2 and it's Flipside. Let's find out what our community think in terms of the votes. Can we get that? It's coming. 47-53. Okay,
Lots
so
of
our
Frenchmen
community
awake early.
Yeah.
Usually there's a lot of people in the CIS region awake early and supporting their teams.
They
So
don't sleep, right?
But they might just have their local version of Twitter, sort of how they have VK instead of Facebook.
Okay.
Maybe that's why.
Maybe,
so their
maybe.
votes are not counting.
53-47. Let's find out what our commentary team think of our opening semi-final. Gents, where is your allegiance in this one?
Probably Flipside.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so 4 out of 4 for Flipside.
Yeah, so Niels has basically come over to the rational side of things. But he went with his own mind yesterday, and now he's like, I'm just gonna slot whatever those guys said.
Yeah. Yeah, no Dengarian stuff for you, Niels, today.
No.
Enjoy the semi-final and bring us all the action, and we'll see you after the break.
All right, well, thank you very much.